In the crisp autumn morning air, Olivia was preparing breakfast with her mother Patricia. Her mother's profile, as she stood in the kitchen, was softly illuminated by the morning sun. The aroma of toasting bread and the rich scent of coffee filled the kitchen. "Olivia, I've made you a ham and lettuce sandwich for today. I added tomatoes and your favorite blueberry jam too," her mother said. Nodding at her mother's words, Olivia lightly toasted the bread. She loved these morning moments before her mother left for work at the beauty salon. 3 years had passed since the divorce, but her mother had always faced forward. She maintained a good relationship with Olivia's father, James, and they still went out for meals together once a month. Her father remained attentive to his daughter's growth, never missing a school event. On weekends, Olivia regularly helped at her grandmother's shop, Cooper's Herbs and Tea. The old red brick building facing Main Street had maintained its 1950s appearance. Stepping inside, various herbal tea fragrances gently welcomed visitors. Behind the antique wooden counter, Grandmother Elizabeth carefully brewed custom-blended teas for each customer. Warm sunlight streamed through the large windows, beautifully illuminating the seasonal herbs on display. "Mom, can I help at Grandma's shop this weekend too?" "Of course, dear. Elizabeth is always looking forward to having you there. She says you brighten up the shop." Olivia enjoyed the peaceful flow of time while helping at the reception. The sound of footsteps on the old wooden floor, the refreshing chime of the doorbell, the rising steam from brewing herbal tea, this comfortable space had become Olivia's cherished sanctuary. One day, a male customer visited the shop. The bell chimed as a sophisticated-looking man in a navy suit entered, surveying the interior with a gentle smile. "What a lovely shop. The historical atmosphere is quite charming." The man, who introduced himself as Robert Walker, a real estate investor, had brought his 2 children. His son Tom, age 15, had inherited his father's gentle demeanor. His daughter Ashley, 13, was around Olivia's age. The children were as polite as their father in their greetings. From that day forward, the Walker family became frequent visitors to the shop. Robert, in particular, spent increasing amounts of time talking with Patricia. The two naturally grew closer, and their animated conversations became more noticeable. Her mother's expression grew brighter day by day. They began spending more time with Robert's family on holidays, and talk of Robert increased at home. However, Grandmother Elizabeth occasionally showed signs of concern. Perhaps it was intuition from years of experience, but she seemed to sense something. "There's something odd about that man. He's too smooth with his words." Olivia couldn't understand what her grandmother meant. Robert was kind, and his children were friendly. She particularly got along well with Ashley, being close in age. They started spending more time together after school and going shopping. As autumn deepened, amid the beautiful fall colors, her mother announced her decision to marry Robert. It was a startling development after just 3 months of dating. "We're moving to a lovely upscale neighborhood. Olivia, you'll be able to live with your new family. It's going to be wonderful." Olivia couldn't say anything in response to her mother's expectant expression. But a small worry had taken root in her heart. On a chilly autumn morning in Greenfield, Olivia could see the still dark sky and street trees swaying in the wind from her bedroom window. The alarm clock showed 6:30 a.m., its electronic tone breaking the quiet morning air. In her drowsy state, Olivia waited for her mother's voice. Usually, she would hear a gentle "Olivia, time to wake up," but the house was unnaturally quiet. "Mom?" There was no response to her call. Stepping into the dim hallway, something felt different against her skin. Something was decidedly wrong. Maybe she had an early shift at the salon? But she always wakes me up when that happens. Her footsteps echoed louder than usual on the stairs. When she turned on the living room lights, she noticed a note on the dining table. Her mother's handwriting. The moment she realized this, her heart began racing. With trembling hands, she picked up the note. A faint trace of her mother's perfume lingered. "Dear Olivia, I've decided to start a new life with my new family. Don't try to contact me. Mom." The letters seemed to dance before her eyes. Everything went white, and her legs gave way. "This is a joke, right? Mom? Where are you?" Her voice cracked. She ran upstairs and opened her mother's door. The closet doors were open, and the clothes that should have been there were gone. All the cosmetics from the vanity, including her usual perfume, had disappeared. "No, this can't be real." In a panic, Olivia called her mother's cell phone. With each ring, her chest tightened. "Mom. Why? Was I a bad child? I said I would go with you." The call went to voicemail. She called again. Another voicemail. "Please. Answer the phone. I don't want to be alone, aren't I family too?" Tears blurred the screen. On the 10th try, a mechanical female voice suddenly announced, "This number is no longer in service." At that moment, everything became real. Her mother had truly left her behind. With her new husband and his children. As if Olivia had never existed. The kitchen still held traces of yesterday's life. Her mother's last used coffee cup in the sink. The weekly menu still posted on the refrigerator. Her hands trembled as she changed into her uniform. The reflection in the mirror looked like a stranger. Swollen red eyes. A pale face. She couldn't even brush her hair properly. She picked up her bag containing her basketball practice clothes. The new shoes her mother had bought just last week waited by the entrance. Everything looked like a normal morning. But nothing was normal anymore. Grandma's house. Grandma might. She dialed her grandmother's number on her phone. But it was early morning before school, when the shop would be busy with opening preparations. She might not be able to answer. By the time she boarded the bus, the morning sun had begun to illuminate the streetscape. The familiar scenery felt like views from a distant country. Tears rolled down her face reflected in the window. Happy memories from just yesterday ran through her mind like a spinning lantern. Watching movies with her mother. Shopping on holidays. the chocolate cake she baked for her birthday. Everything felt like it had happened in the distant past. Her feet felt heavy as she headed to her grandmother's shop after getting off the school bus. Through the morning mist, the red brick building gradually came into view. Standing before the door, the scent of herbal tea wafted out. Her hand trembled as she rang the bell. The door opened. Her grandmother's eyes changed the moment they caught sight of Olivia. "Olivia. What's wrong?" At that gentle voice, tears began flowing uncontrollably. "Grandma. Mom. Mom." Elizabeth wordlessly embraced Olivia. In those warm arms, Olivia cried out loud, releasing all her emotions into her grandmother's herb-scented embrace. "You have me. A wonderful life awaits you." Her grandmother's voice was filled with unwavering love. Those words became a small but certain ray of hope for the new life about to begin. A new life began on the second floor of grandmother's, Cooper's Herbs and Tea. Elizabeth suggested transferring schools, but Olivia shook her head. "I want to stay at my current school. It's only 30 minutes by bus, I'll be fine." Behind that determination was a strong desire to maintain some normalcy. Her father James took action as soon as he learned of the situation. Child support was reliably sent to her grandmother, and he made sure to visit every weekend to check on her. "Olivia, you're a strong girl. But you don't have to push yourself. Tell me any time when things get tough." Her father's words carried a quiet strength. As the CEO of an IT company, he continued to provide subtle support to heal his daughter's emotional wounds. Daily life slowly began to find a new rhythm. Weekdays were spent at school, afternoons helping at her grandmother's shop. Weekends were spent with her father, sometimes all three having dinner together. Her wounded heart, embraced by her grandmother's love and father's support, gradually began to heal. One day, Olivia decided to try posting product photos from the shop on Instagram. "Grandma's knowledge is so valuable. I want more people to know about it." Her first post was a photo of her grandmother carefully brewing seasonal blend tea. The amber liquid gleaming in the morning sun, the elegant rising steam, the delicate colors of dried herbs arranged alongside. She captured the shop's warm atmosphere in a single photo. It was a small step. However, that step received an unexpected response. Local people left comments like, "This is the lovely shop I always visit," and people interested in herbal tea saved the photos. Olivia expanded her posting content. Her grandmother's special blends for each season. Adding stories behind each one, she introduced the benefits of each herb along with her grandmother's narration. The colorful herbs arranged on antique shelves. The sound of footsteps on the old wooden floor. The pleasant chime of the doorbell. Everything evoked warm memories in a nostalgic atmosphere. Followers gradually increased. 100, 500, 1,000. Then an unexpected development occurred. "Olivia, look. We're getting inquiries about ordering tea online." Her grandmother excitedly shared the news. Actually, her father James had been secretly helping with SEO optimization and supporting the website construction. All I can do is provide technical support. But if that can help Olivia. The launch of the online shop brought new life to the store. Local media ran a feature titled "Perfect Fusion of Tradition and Social Media," which led to even more attention. Magazine interview requests started coming in. The follower count exceeded 100,000, and online shop sales surpassed in-store sales. They needed to hire new employees. Sarah, could you handle the new product photography? Jessica, please help with preparing the online orders for shipping. Mike, have you finished today's inventory check? The shop was filled with new energy. However, Olivia never forgot her roots. She still treasured the morning time spent brewing herbal tea with her grandmother. "Grandma, thank you for choosing this shop," Olivia said one morning. Elizabeth gently stroked her granddaughter's hair as she replied, "You're the one who breathed new life into this shop." As her 18th birthday approached, Cooper's Herbs and Tea had become one of the most popular shops in the region. While considering college, Olivia was dreaming of further expanding the online business. Her grandmother's traditional knowledge and modern digital marketing. Their perfect harmony was healing many people's hearts. It was the new life's radiance discovered by a girl who had been left behind. One spring afternoon, just after deciding to attend the University of Connecticut, the shop's doorbell rang. Olivia was preparing to photograph new herbal tea creations in the soft sunlight streaming through the windows. Seasonal flowers adorned the displays, and a peaceful atmosphere filled the shop. "Welcome to our shop." The moment she turned around with her usual smile, Olivia froze. The customer standing there was in a disheveled state. It was Patricia, her mother, who had once dressed in luxury brands. Now wearing cheap clothes with an exhausted expression. Her once dyed hair showed prominent gray, with dark circles under her eyes. Her former beauty had faded, and 6 years seemed to have taken everything from her. A faint smell of disinfectant lingered. It was far removed from her mother's former scent when she worked at the high-end beauty salon. She held a cheap plastic umbrella, and her shoes were worn in places. She looked like a completely different person. The air in the shop froze. Regular customers and new staff alike sensed the unusual atmosphere and held their breath. Only the creaking of the old wooden floor broke the silence. "Olivia," her mother called out in a hoarse voice. That voice vividly brought back memories of that morning 6 years ago. The note left on the table. The countless unanswered phone calls. And the deep loneliness and despair. Her heart raced, and her palms began to sweat. Patricia approached her daughter with unsteady steps, then suddenly fell to her knees and bowed deeply. The movement had completely lost its former grace. "Please forgive me. I'm so sorry for leaving you behind." Her tearful voice echoed through the shop. Olivia was speechless. She had never seen her mother in such a pitiful state. The mother she had once admired was no longer there. Why now? As Olivia asked in a trembling voice, Grandmother Elizabeth, who had come down the stairs, quietly intervened after assessing the situation. Her apron carried the usual scent of lavender. "Let's close the shop." Everyone, we're closing early today. The regular customers seemed to understand the situation and quietly left the shop. The staff departed through the back door. As she left, one elderly lady gently patted Olivia's shoulder. With just the three of them remaining in the shop, Patricia began to tell everything. That day, I made the worst choice of my life. The truth was revealed. Robert Walker was a con artist who committed large-scale marriage fraud. He would approach wealthy women, gain their trust with his children, and then after marriage, steal all their assets and disappear. That was their method. At first, I truly believed Robert was the perfect gentleman, and the children were so good. I thought we could be a happy family. Patricia's voice trembled. But 2 weeks after the marriage, everything changed. They took my savings, my jewelry, everything. They made me cancel my phone and gave me a new number. And then, she choked on her words. Then those children showed their true faces. Tom and Ashley, it was all an act. They were accomplices who had repeatedly committed this fraud. Olivia gasped. Her happy memories with Ashley instantly lost their color. Robert said I would be in the way of the new family, and foolishly, I believed him. Leaving you behind, that's not what a mother should do. Patricia looked up. Her eyes were filled with endless regret. For 6 years, I've lived through hell. Robert and his family abandoned me and moved on to their next target. She stumbled over her words. Then, hesitantly pulled out a smartphone. I found you on Instagram. Seeing the posts from Cooper's Herbs and Tea, watching you grow. I looked at them almost every day. The screen showed dozens of saved photos that Olivia had posted. Seeing how wonderfully you've grown, how strong you've become. I felt so proud. But at the same time, I realized how foolish I had been. Patricia bowed her head to the floor again. Her back had completely lost its former dignity. I can't ask for forgiveness. But I wanted to see you. I wanted to atone for these 6 years. The shop fell silent. Only the blend of peppermint and chamomile wafted gently through the air. Elizabeth quietly watched over the two. Occasionally, tears glistened in her eyes as well. I was hurting too. After a long silence, Olivia spoke. Her voice was filled with emotions she had kept sealed away. Every day, I wondered why I was abandoned. What I had done wrong, what I could have done differently. There were many sleepless nights. Her voice trembled. 6 years' worth of tears gathered behind her eyelids. But Grandma supported me. And Dad too. And this shop became my sanctuary. This fragrance, this space, they healed me. Olivia took a deep breath. It sounded like she was setting down a burden she had carried for years. I can't completely forgive you, Mom. But she placed her hand on her mother's shoulder. There was a slight warmth in that touch. I want to stop hating. Patricia broke down crying at those words. 2 months after reuniting with her mother, Patricia had started a new life in a small rental apartment. "Mom, let's start a new life together. This time, 3 generations." At Olivia's suggestion, Patricia began working as an employee at the shop, starting with 2 days a week. Her careful customer service skills from her days as a beautician served her well in the herbal tea shop. This chai tea contains cinnamon and cardamom. It has warming properties that. Her mother's voice echoed through the shop. She was gradually regaining some of her former radiance from 6 years ago. James, her biological father, also began visiting the shop occasionally. "This accounting system could be a bit more efficient," he would say, offering casual advice from his perspective as an IT company executive. The 3 of them started having lunch together more frequently. It was a new kind of family scene. One day, a major article appeared in the local newspaper. The full extent of Robert Walker's and his children's fraud scheme had been exposed. They were arrested for another fraud case, and during the investigation, their past crimes came to light. Tom and Ashley were sent to juvenile detention. A victim support group was formed, and Patricia joined. There, she learned she wasn't alone. There were other mothers who had been forced to leave their children behind, women who had been betrayed and lost everything. Together with these women, Patricia slowly began to face her past. "My foolishness hurt many people. But acknowledging that is where recovery begins." Patricia spoke these words at a support group lecture. Her words touched the hearts of others who had suffered similar harm. The shop, too, began to change gradually. The old sign was taken down, and a new name was put up. "Heart and Herbs, by 3 generations." I want to combine Grandma's tradition, Mom's new ideas, and my social media marketing. I want it to be a shop that brings together 3 generations of wisdom. Olivia's proposal breathed new life into the shop. Elizabeth's 60 years of herbal knowledge, Patricia's aesthetic sense, and Olivia's digital skills. Each of their strengths harmonized beautifully. As an organic product brand, Heart and Herbs began gaining attention nationwide. They were featured on magazine covers and selected as one of America's top 10 organic shops. Even after starting college, Olivia always returned to the shop on weekends. She would drink tea prepared by her mother while discussing her grandmother's new blends. Sometimes her father would join them, and the 4 would talk about future plans together. One peaceful Sunday afternoon, a small ceremony was held in the shop. "Mom, congratulations. From today, you're officially the manager." Olivia handed her mother a special apron. The words "Heart and Herbs" were embroidered in gold thread on the navy fabric. "In this shop, I found my new life." Tears glistened in Patricia's eyes. But they were no longer tears of regret. "Our path wasn't straight," Elizabeth quietly continued. "But that journey is what made this place even more special." The familiar scent of herbs wafted through the shop as always. The old wooden floor continued to make its comforting sounds. Outside the window, the summer sunlight poured down, announcing the arrival of a new season. From Cooper's Herbs and Tea to a Heart and Herbs. It wasn't just a change in shop name, but proof that wounded bonds could heal and connect in new ways.